Before I begin, please watch the video from beginning to end. I swear, the amount of people who tell me I'm wrong, and then tell me they never even watched any of the videos I've made on this topic is mind-blowingly insane of how close-minded some people are on this topic. Anyway, a few of you probably thought that Bungie retconned the Forerunners to be a completely separate species from humans, according to the Halo 3 Terminals and Iris campaign. But that is not true. From what I've gathered from reading comments from former Bungie staff and looking at all of the evidence, there was a retcon that took place during Halo 3 under Bungie, in regards to the Forerunner and human connection, but it's probably not what you think. In Halo's Combat Evolved in 2, humans were supposed to be the direct descendants of the Forerunner, but that sort of changed in Halo 3. When Halo 3 was being developed, apparently there was some debate about the connection between humans and Forerunners. Some didn't like the original idea and others did. In the game Halo 3 and the novel Contact Harvest, they followed the original Halo 1 and 2 story. In the Halo 3 Terminals and Iris campaign, as well as the Cradle of Life comic, they follow the newer version. What were the two versions? It's the difference between repopulating and reseeding of humanity. Halo 3 and Contact Harvest go with the repopulating version, and the Terminals and Iris campaign go with the receding version. After talking with Jamie on Twitter X, he told me that the original version they were going to go with, which is the version he did not like, was that when the rings were activated, it would cause the Forerunners to become a primitive form of themselves, and they'd begin repopulating the galaxy. They would forget their heritage and culture and become humanity, which is why we get this scene in Halo Combat Evolved.
You can't imagine how exciting this is, to have a record of all of our lost time. Human history, is it? Fascinating.
However, during the development of Halo 3, there were two groups that apparently weren't very clear on what they were doing with the story, which is why Frank O'Connor approved of Joe Staten's book, which claimed that humans were Forerunner, because the Halo 3 Terminals say that Forerunners are human beings. The mix-up was the difference between repopulating and reseeding, which is why when they noticed the mistake between the two, they just kind of went, I don't think it'll be that big of an issue, and it's not like they contradict each other too much. But the Halo 3 Terminals, Iris campaign, and the Cradle of Life comic do not confirm or show this. This is the retcon from 343 under the management of Frank O'Connor. While Frank did help with a lot of the receding version of Halo's story that contradicted the repopulating version, he still retconned both the receding and the repopulating. That's why Halo 4 and the Forerunner trilogy books tell you that the Halo 3 Terminals are unreliable and can't be trusted, and that Mendicant Bias is lying. This is also why you get a lot of the mentions of how Spark is unreliable and the Prophets were just mistaken, because 343 retconned the original story that Forerunners were human. Why was there a retcon to begin with under Bungie in Halo 3? The reason why is mainly because newer writers didn't really like the original story of Forerunners becoming primitive humans who forgot their history after the firing of the rings, and opted to have it changed. There were also many other issues like original members coming and going, and everyone trying to rush this final story out there before time ran out. So everyone was trying to make things work, and because everyone was running around like a chicken with its head cut off to get this game released in time, they didn't notice the lore difference between repopulating and reseeding, and they just kind of went with it since both confirmed that Forerunners were human. And to make a long story short, that was the retcon that took place under Bungie. The mistake that many people make is, they heard there was a retcon, saw what happened in Halo 4 and the Didact, and just kind of went, I guess that was the retcon Bungie approved. And to be completely fair, I don't blame people for making that same mistake. I played Halo Combat Evolved back in 2001, and played every single game up to Halo Infinite, and I only learned about Forerunners being human back in December of 2023. There was a change that took place under Bungie, the difference between repopulating and reseeding, but Bungie wanted Forerunners to be human, and 343 retconned it so they were a separate species. Many people I've talked to have sworn up and down that it wasn't technically a retcon under 343, because it was never fully established that Forerunners were human, but it actually was, which is why Halo 3 and Contact Harvest reveal at the end what the truth was supposed to be.
You are the child of my makers, inheritor of all they left behind. You are Forerunner. But this ring is mine.
Saying otherwise is either a sign of ignorance or being malicious with the source material, because everyone at Bungie said they were the same. Even the Halo 3 terminals hint that something is going on, which is why 343's material repeatedly throws doubt on the reliability of the Halo 3 terminals. The terminals contradict the idea that Forerunners were not human. It was meant to remain an obvious mystery, but Bungie wanted Forerunners to be human. Lastly, if you prefer the change, then like what you like, but denying that the separate species change happened under 343 is silly, especially at this point, with what all we know. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video.